Hey everyone, Two-Ton Gamer here, and today I want to go over the things that were discussed in the December Twitch live streams from the devs of Conan Exiles. The videos were awesome and full of wonderful information. Okay, so let's start off with character creation. This is the very first thing the devs showed off on their very first Twitch stream back in early December. And basically, your character starts out on a crucifix and you're left for dead. The trailer kind of shows this as well. I believe Conan's going to free you and you're going to be exiled. The devs did mention that there would be 11 or 14 races. I wasn't sure which one, or maybe they weren't sure. So another choice you're going to get to have that you're going to be able to make, which I actually found interesting from the trailer itself, will be you get to choose your religion. And keep in mind that this will not be a permanent choice, so I guess you can change it later on. Which religion you choose, it'll give you starter religious recipes, such as an altar. And so, like, take for example the Mitra. If you choose the religion of Mitra, it is with that altar, I guess you can summon the giant avatar that was from the trailer, which like walked through and destroyed the entire base. I guess another religion that they have will allow you to have that giant snake as well. So that's definitely a pretty cool feature that's coming. When it comes to actually customizing your body there, and your character overall, one of the things you get to do, which is pretty cool, is you get to choose your voice. There will also be head options. They said right now what you're seeing on the screen, there's going to be more faces that are going to come soon. They said hopefully by the next stream actually, which should be coming within this first week of January here. So they're going to have more faces and options available. If you're familiar with Ark, you'll know that that's something that we've never had on that game. So it'll be really nice to be able to have more options. But there's supposed to be different hairstyles, as well as physics for the hair that'll be in soon. We're also going to get cosmetics. There's going to be war paints and tattoos that will be available in-game as costume and not just at your character selection, which I found pretty interesting. As far as choosing your body type or whatnot, there will be sliders. There will be physiques that have special surprises. I don't know what that means, but that's what they mentioned. When you create the character, you see your list of crimes, which is randomized and may or may not be true about your character, so maybe there'll be some kind of role-playing element involved with this to where you can maybe seek out and find out who your accuser was or something. That'd be kind of cool. But anyway, these are some very nice things that are in the character creation, and I was very impressed with it from what I've seen so far. Alright, so with character creation out of the way, let's talk about the general gameplay. And this is the information that they gave straight after that. And basically, once you start your character, you're going to start out in the Exile Lands, which at the moment is a desert biome. There will be more biomes coming later in early release. They did actually mention snow as one of the first biomes that will be coming. Now, one of the big questions I had coming on was first person or third person, will we have the option? And the answer is yes, you will have the options. Your controls are going to be your standard WSAD keyboard controls. Don't know about gaming pads or whatnot just yet, but they do seem to have plans for Xbox, so I would assume that the gamepad controls will come later. As far as story elements, they did mention that you'll be wearing a bracelet, which allows you to hear voices, see ghosts, and read tablets, which contain your backstory. The bracelet will kill you if you try to leave the Exile Lands, which kind of sounds a little bit like the Suicide Squad and the chips in the head that they threatened would, if they deserted the mission, that they would kill them with, so that's kind of cool. It does kind of remind me of Ark in the way that you have the chip in your wrist, so maybe that's how you can access inventory and things like that. Not sure yet, just a guess. So let's talk stats. The top left shows the stats. It's got your typical health, stamina, your XP, your weight, your food, your drink, and whatnot. It looks like since we're in a desert, water management is going to be a huge thing, so you may have to leave the desert and kind of head for the roads, they said, right off the bat. I guess there's going to be some more shadier areas that you can kind of go to. I guess there'll be more plants, so that's kind of a clue where you need to go at just so you don't run out of water so fast, and I guess until you build it up. If you're familiar with other survival games, it looks like we have our standard inventory and crafting windows here. You can filter already your recipes, which I found was pretty nice. That's something we didn't get in Ark right away. You can find journals, which you hear aloud. The journals, I guess they're kind of read to you. Also, tablets are read to you aloud. And you can eat eggs that you find on the ground, which are a good source of nourishment, it looks like. So they have a pretty cool feature when it comes to food and drink. Now, with some of the other survival games I've played, I know it's survival, and food and drink is one of your main concerns, but it's always kind of a pet peeve of mine that you're just constantly having to worry about it. With their system, it looks like you can kind of fill yourself up. The icon will turn completely blue, and when they're satisfied, it gives you a grace period that'll last for a while without you having to worry about it. So it's kind of worthwhile to fill it up and not just kind of eat a little bit just to kind of get it up a little bit. You should actually fill it completely up to get that grace period. And I think I'm going to be a huge fan of that. Now, some survival games, they all seem to have NPCs of some sort, whether it's your dinosaurs, your zombies, or whatnot. And Conan is not going to be any different. They're going to have, they're actually going to have animals such as crocodiles. I've seen some like a gazelle type out there. There's going to be some other creatures as well added later. That actually, for a full list, you can head to their wiki, and it's got all the animals announced so far. But they're also going to have NPC camps, and this is something I'm really looking forward to, because they're going to be around the map, and you don't have to necessarily have a server that's PvP, because looks like there's going to be decent PvE out there. Now, Ark does have dinosaurs, but there's no actual NPCs on there, so it'll be kind of nice to play a game where there's actual bands of NPCs around and tribes that you can go and be at war with. There's some other cool features that come with the NPCs, which we'll talk about later. So when you're actually messing with your recipes and you're looking over things and what you can actually unlock and learn, the things that are in yellow are going to be the recipes that you can unlock. Durability of items and structures is visible on the hotbar underneath the item, which I kind of like. So now when it comes to chat, they did mention that there is a world chat. There will be a guild chat and a local chat as well. Those things are already in place. So that will be nice. Another thing I talked about earlier with different animals that are going to be out there. Now, they will be tameable later on, and you'll be able to have mounts that you can ride on, but that's not going to be ready at early release. They said it's going to be like one of the very first things they work on right after early release. So I would guess, depending on how their updates are going to go, we can hope it's going to be like Ark was back in the day, where they were like pumping the stuff out every 1 or 2 weeks. I'm not going to say that Conan's going to be doing that, because that's a lot of pressure to put on any gaming company. Even Ark's tamed down on that lately. But if they can, I would assume probably by March. I would say no later than March. Hopefully we'll see mounts in there. That'd be really cool. But don't get your hopes up. They didn't say anything like that. They just said it would be one of the first updates they would work on. They seem to have a really good ear for role-playing, and it looks like they're really working with that. They're already actually talking with role players in the forums and stuff and trying to get their thoughts and ideas. So there will be emotes in the game, which is very important. There will be role-playing servers. But that's going to be something that's left for the members. But there will be options for role-playing options if you configure your own server, which is something I plan on doing. Going along with role-playing, there will be cultural outfits. I'm assuming like part of the religion and whatnot that you choose in the beginning. So that'll be kind of cool. I guess if your whole tribe there is one religion, you guys will have like your own, I guess, set of clothes to identify yourself with. It looks like they're going to be probably working in dyeing items and things like that as well. I think there was already some in there, if I'm not mistaken. So for those of you only children out there who don't play well with others, there will be a single player mode as well, so you don't have to join a server, whether official or unofficial. You can just do it on your own machine. I do apologize for throwing this in here. I meant to say it back earlier, but there will be beards on your character creation. They may not be in for early release, but they will be shortly after. And I think they may have even mentioned something about some kind of way that you can alter your character later on if you've already created it. So once they add something like beards in, you'll be able to maybe go to like a barber or something like that, or just grow your hair out. Ark is working on something similar to that right now, so that'll be interesting to see what they come up with. Alright, so another thing that they mentioned, and again I apologize for rapidly throwing these different items at you, but this is kind of like how I made the notes. And kind of like the order that they kind of skipped around on. But they did talk about how you'll be able to upgrade your altars to increase your religious powers. I know one of the things they talked about was turning a snake into an arrow. Of course, we've seen the trailer with the giant deity type animals that are going to be out there, so those are going to be part of that. So it's going to be really interesting to see where that goes. And as far as the levels go, I didn't hear them say what the max was going to be, especially like right off the bat. But it looks like around level 30, you're going to be hitting your mid-tier items. So that's where you're going to be able to start crafting your medium level gear and maybe some of your more advanced items that kind of takes you a little bit beyond your starter stuff. Again, it looks like they're really focusing on trying to, really appease role players and people who like to do things like decorate their housing and stuff. Their housing looks spectacular. If you look at the video, the villages, they look really good. I like some of the different options they seem to have. It looks like they may have like the triangle type foundation already cooked into the game. I know in Ark we had to have that as a mod. Triangles open up huge options for building, like floor plans and stuff. So you move away from rectangles and squares, and you start having these nice, octagon shaped or round shaped structures, and it really opens things up. So that's going to be something to look forward to. But it looks like you're going to have things right off the bat, such as like rhino head mounts and other items for your house. Things that took some of the other games a little bit longer to get in, they're going to start off with right away. So that's going to be really cool. The one really cool thing they talked about a couple of times was the fact that they had the big horn, like the war horn that you could have, or the gong. So that's going to be really cool to have those things out there to be able to blow whenever you have enemies attacking your walls or whatnot. It's going to be really sweet. So another thing that I guess has been talked about in the forums that they mentioned was server wipes. And they said they don't have any plans, but it will be determined later on. And a lot of it has to do with, I guess, if they have any major world changes that may affect bases or whatnot. So in those cases, there would be like a wipe of some sort that you would have to perform, or they would perform on their official servers as well. So that's typical for any game, really. All right, so moving on. Anyone who played the Age of Conan game, the MMO, one thing that really stood out from that game was the music. If you played that game, the music was just so wonderful, and they have the same composer coming back to do this game as well. And so that's a huge thing, because you get, if the music's bad, you're going to turn it down, and sometimes you miss things. But this music is something you want to listen to. You'll go to specific areas just to hear the specific music for that area. So I'm really looking forward to the music, and I hope you guys are too. All right, so moving on. There will be a modding community. They said they plan on releasing modding tools later on, so there will be that. Of course, there will be server settings for your own customized servers. One setting I really like that they said you'd be able to do on your own private servers is that you can make your body disappear when you're logged off. And that's going to be a pretty cool thing. I'm really looking forward to that. They do plan on having things for discovery, such as going out to find caves and finding things in the caves I guess you're going to need. I don't know if there's going to be anything like a loot crate or anything that's going to be around, but I'd assume that there'll be some kind of loot in-game that you'll be able to get. All right, and the game, for anyone who's curious, it has been in development only for a year now. It started around January, February of 2016, so they've been going for a year now, and they're now about ready to bring it out. All right, so wrapping this up, there is, they said there will be fall damage, of course, and there will be sandstorms. I don't know if that's in automatically at early access, but there will be sandstorms at least later on. All right, so anyway, that concludes this video. I will have another video coming out shortly, probably this week, that's going to cover the building and the combat. There's a couple things they really went into, and so that's going to be a separate video all by itself. I kind of wanted to keep this short just to get things rolling. I really look forward to playing with you guys and really going all out and just, diving into this game as soon as it comes out. I hope you all will join me, and thank you very much for your time. Please like, subscribe, and comment below if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if there's anything I didn't cover that you want me to cover. If I spent too much time on one thing or something else, just please tell me. I have no problem changing things up a bit. Anyway, guys, I will see you in game later on.